and welcome to another episode of the Don't Get Me Going podcast. My name is Gabe Lulinski, and we have a fun episode here. If you couldn't tell, if you're one of the people that watch on YouTube a lot, my brother and I are in the same room, and I'm having him on as a special guest today. He is one of the biggest Bears fans I know, and the biggest homer I know, if you could believe that at all. Even though I'm an avid Justin Fields, Caleb Williams fan, he is the bigger one. And to start that off, Gabe was the biggest Justin Fields believer I know, and I want to hear your opinion and thoughts, especially comparing him to Caleb Williams. With Caleb Williams almost in the same situation he was, and Mitchell Trubisky with a new coach coming into his second year. I want to know what you're thinking right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, I need to address your comments about me being. I mean, I will admit I probably am a bigger homer than you. I'm probably the biggest homer I know, but I'm factual. At least I try to.
It's hard to say.
I try to be factual.
It's hard to say anything else. I mean, saying you're the biggest homer you know when you're in a state full of Green Bay Packers fans who have as much bias as possible.
It kind of turns you into having
tough,
some
huh?
automatic bias right off the bat. But yeah, well, you know, obviously that I was a massive Fields fan, and I was initially against drafting Caleb Williams at all. Not that my logic wasn't against him as a player. It was mostly due to the fact that I thought they were similar players, and I knew that Caleb Williams likely had more upside, but I still believe in Justin Fields. And that was kind of the basis of what I was thinking is I believe in Justin, and Caleb to me is just the same quarterback with more upside. I still believe in Justin. Obviously, I love Caleb. I'm a Bears fan. I'm wearing his jersey. Caleb is my favorite quarterback now, and my opinion changed pretty quick once I saw him.
Believe me, I'm still super excited about Justin Fields. I think he has a lot of potential on the Jets with Garrett Wilson back on his team. However, we're seeing a lot of the same reports from Justin Fields as well in training camp that we've always seen, and it almost just makes me relieved that we don't have him on the team. And like Gabe, I was a big Justin Fields believer. I got his jersey a couple days, probably a couple months before he ended up leaving the team, and that's happened to me quite a few times. We see a lot of the same reports of him being very inaccurate at the ball, and it almost just makes me relieved that we have a quarterback situation like we do. And speaking of quarterback situations, though, I also just want to say how thankful I am that we have the quarterback situation that we have. We have Caleb Williams and one of the best backups in the league, and Tyson Bagent, who just signed a new deal. It makes me reminisce on the fact that we used to have Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, and we used to have arguments whether or not Nick Foles or Andy Dalton should start. Yeah, so I just want to put that out there that I'm super thankful that we're not in that situation anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I'm happy that we can actually be confident in a quarterback situation. I think the frustrating thing is that that's only half the fan base. Like that's the frustrating thing is that we clearly know, and I don't even have to say this as an opinion. Objectively, we should be okay with our quarterback situation. We drafted a rookie quarterback who his rookie season threw for 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, 3,500 yards. Ran for 400 more.
Yeah, to any ungrateful fans, I need you to think about the fact that
Mitch threw for 7 and 7 his rookie year.
Exactly.
I think Justin Fields was.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubt, though. They did play much less games than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams started the entire year last year.
I think Mitch played 12, and he threw 7 and 7. I could be completely wrong, but I remember.
And on that topic as well, just checking here for some notes, there's a big argument that Jaden Daniels is this outstanding player. And don't get me wrong, he is. He broke many, many records, but let's look at the stats here. Caleb Williams had 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And if you compare that to Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year, top 5 quarterback in the league according to many, which is just not true, I'm sorry to say. Maybe top 10, but that's pushing it for a second-year player. You saw how second-year players play in C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud played fine, but he wasn't a top 5 quarterback. Jaden Daniels threw for 3,500 yards, 3,568 to be exact, 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And yes, you can add to the total with rushing yards. You can also add to Caleb Williams' total. Caleb Williams had over 4,000 total yards. Their stats aren't much different, and when you compare it to a player who had an experienced coach, a great offensive play caller in Cliff Kingsbury, lots of help on offense. Not saying Caleb Williams didn't have it, but Caleb Williams had, 2 to 3 offensive play callers. Lost the defensive play caller midway through the season. Lost his head coach midway through the season. Did not have any stability and was still able to get those numbers. I think people saying that he's going to be a bust after 1 year and doing one of the best seasons the Bears have had for a quarterback is insane.
It's unbelievable. And not to mention, too, Jaden Daniels had probably close to a full college season worth of starts more than Jaden had more than a full college season worth of starts more than Caleb. So, and I was actually saying even before the draft happened, I do think this is a great draft. That was a great draft class. It will be one of the best quarterback draft classes ever. I think that's going to go down as a special draft class. I think Jaden Daniels is elite. I think Caleb Williams is elite. I think Drake May is elite. And I think Bo Nix, I think we've talked about this
I think
before.
Michael Penix can even be pretty good.
I was just going to say, I think Bo Nix and Michael Penix will both be starting caliber quarterbacks throughout their career. Michael Penix, actually,
the way he turned that team around in those last few games that he played, it's really impressive. I'm super excited to see how that offense plays this season.
Michael Penix, there's just something to him. He seems like the type of guy.
It's another experienced guy like Jaden Daniels as well.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he did have some injury concerns in college. But obviously, and that was his biggest reason for falling, I believe, too, is because he was hurt, 2 or 3 times in college. So
I mean, the Falcons obviously saw something in him. They drafted him in the top 10.
Yeah.
So
he's got a big arm.
Yeah.
And pure pocket passer. It's kind of funny. He actually goes against the mold of what we've seen a lot of teams like nowadays. But he's a legitimate pocket passer. Not a mobile guy, not a scrambler, but.
Yeah, and then again, speaking of Caleb Williams and the quarterback situation, I want to hear your opinion on what you thought of the 2 preseason games he played, especially with this new offense play caller and head coach in Ben Johnson. I'm super excited to see the actual offense play. Think we saw a lot of explosive plays out of the team, especially in the second preseason game. They went 7 plays for 107 yards and a touchdown. In that second game, they looked pretty good. It looks like they're going to favor tight ends. What do you think about that?
What do I think about it? The offense so far?
How do you think Colson Loveland's going to play into this team? And I want to see what you're excited to see.
Colson Loveland is going to be elite. And obviously, yes, I know I'm a homer, and you can probably tell from my answers. A lot of the things I'm saying, definitively, oh, yes, he's going to be elite. Caleb Williams is great. But just watch him. Just watch him. He moves like a receiver. Even against the Chiefs, he had one or 2 short catches, but just the way he moves. The main concern everyone had was his shoulder. Where's that been? Nowhere.
Yeah.
He is an elite movement guy, elite runner. Now, he's not the type of guy like a Tyler Warren. When you get the ball in his hands, he's going to make a guy miss or bulldoze someone over.
He's a quick guy, though, that he's thought of as a receiver, a big receiver, so
yeah,
he's definitely going to make plays on the
and
offense.
I guess I shouldn't say he can't make someone miss. He can make someone miss, but he's more of a route run type guy versus get the ball to me type guy, if that makes sense. Not a ball in space guy, more of a route runner type guy.
Yeah, I can see that. And also, just a quick pause. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged today, and I'm super excited about it. I'm a big Swiftie, and I literally wanted to mention this the second this podcast started. I think they are perfect for each other, and I'm excited for this album in October. I just had to pause the podcast real quick for an advertisement for them because I just love it so much. But anyway, back on regular scheduled programming. Back to Tyson Bagent. This is a little crazy podcast. I'm just super excited to have my brother on. I want to know if you think he'd be a solid starter anywhere else in the league.
So this is actually, I'm glad you brought this up. So I don't think he'd be a liability. But I do think people are way too quick to say, oh, this guy could start anywhere. This guy would go, he's a starter. Now, there's a difference between starting caliber versus top 32. I do think he is a starting caliber quarterback, but I do not think he's a top 32 quarterback in the NFL.
I think Tyson Bagent right now, if you were to place him on another team, I think he could be a starter over Spencer Rattler, who was just announced as the Saints starting quarterback. I would prefer seeing Tyson Bagent over Spencer Rattler as a starter.
But
if I had a choice.
That's the thing. But are the Saints going to go out there and go after Tyson Bagent?
No, I don't think any team would hypothetically.
That's
right now, no team would go after. In my opinion, I don't think any team will be going after Tyson Bagent. And that's why he signed a new contract with the Bears. However, hypothetically, if you had a choice between Spencer Rattler and Tyson Bagent, I would go with Tyson Bagent. I feel like he's shown a lot of progression in this preseason. He's able to make smart reads. He's able to get out of the pressure when he needs to. He's making smart decisions. He led the Bears on like a 20-point comeback in this third preseason game. And of course, it's against backups, but I mean, not any quarterback could do that.
I'm a huge Bagent guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm really happy we signed him. I do think he's one of the better backups in the league, but I do think people get a little bit carried away with just talking about things like that. Like, I mean,
even Bears fans themselves. Some Bears fans want him over Caleb Williams.
Well,
I
yeah,
think it's
and that's
absurd.
another
that's
absurd
a little
conversation.
Absurd.
That's another absolutely outrageous conversation. But in terms of him being able to start somewhere else and his quality of a backup and what he is as a backup, yes, he's a good backup. He's an above average backup. But I just think people go a little crazy with performances like that. If you go and look at a bunch of different NFL teams and we talk about backups, there's a lot of guys you can make the same argument for.
A lot of good backups. You can even argue the Bears' third string quarterback in Case Keenum is a really solid backup.
Yeah,
you can look at teams like the Giants who have rookie Jackson Dart, who's I think a third string behind Jameis Winston. But you got Jameis Winston, who I think also could start somewhere else as well if you place them on one of those quarterback needy teams like the Saints.
I know, like even in our own division. I know Hendon Hooker hasn't had a great camp, but he's a solid back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just got cut.
Did he? I actually didn't know that.
He got released. He's
really?
not on the team. I'm assuming they'll put him back on their practice squad.
He was a second-round pick.
Yeah, if he clears waivers, I'd assume that he'd be put back on the practice squad. But
I didn't. Okay, well that kind of
goes
against what I was
earlier
saying
than just today. It was yesterday.
Wow. Well.
Yeah, Malik Willis. You can inside the division.
But the point I was making,
Willis,
like
you
Malik
Willis. Yeah.
There's backups who you can make the same argument for that people are making for Tyson Bagent.
I'd almost argue that the Titans made the wrong decision with Will Levis versus Malik Willis, but that's like a discussion that's a little late anyway.
Discussion, but yes, I do think Tyson's good. I do think he is a starting caliber quarterback, like many backups, but he is not a top 32 quarterback, in my opinion.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, the biggest concern with him was arm strength, especially coming into the league. And obviously he has all the skills needed for IQ and decision making, but there's definitely something to be said for whether he's a top 32 quarterback, which, I mean, the Saints might not have a top 32 quarterback in the league right now as their starter, but that doesn't mean. I think actually they should have taken. I want to talk about Tyler Shoaff. Tyler Shoaff was taken with the 40th pick, compared to Shedeur Sanders, who was taken 100 picks later.
Yeah. Was it something that was it?
I think it was around that. Different days, of course, obviously as well. But taking Tyler Shoaff in the second round when there's other quarterbacks like that, especially that fell, you had Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. Both those last two ended up on the Browns team. I do think that was a little bit of a questionable decision by the Saints. I'm not confident in Tyler Shoaff, who's also like 26 already. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a concern for them.
You just think his age?
I think with his age, obviously he has to be the most. If he's 26 and you drafted him, he should be the starter, and he's not the starter. He lost to Spencer Rattler, who started some games last year and showed that he's not ready to start either. So the fact that you drafted a 26-year-old as early as you did in the second round, when you could have gone, there's lots of talent. This draft class had so much talent, and you took Tyler Shoaff, who's 26 or around there, with the 40th pick in the second round, and you can't start him when you had other quarterback talent that was still on the board that went rounds later. I think that's a questionable decision.
Yeah, I agree. I it's understandable to be questionable. I just want to push back a little bit on going so hard against Spencer Rattler last year. I mean, a 5th round pick. He was a developmental guy.
Like, he's not a type
and
of guy
he's in
that...
the second year now with another rookie behind him.
Yeah.
There's no one there to develop.
My point is that right now, Spencer Rattler is different than what he was last year.
I mean,
As
maybe
a fifth round
too.
rookie who got thrown in there, like, that's a different.
I mean, their head coach is a former quarterback too, so maybe he's making some progressions, but I don't think either of them are ready to start in the NFL.
What I'm saying is, I don't think Tyler Shubb just beat out the same fifth round Spencer Rattler from last year. This is him going into his second year after he experienced a lot, learned a lot. He's a much better quarterback at this point. I wouldn't say that. Like, I understand your point, but I don't think it's as simple as, he got beat out by Spencer Rattler from last year. Like, this is a different Spencer Rattler, you know? At least
we haven't seen it yet, so I guess we just have to wait and see.
That's true. And when I say it's a different Spencer Rattler, I'm not saying I think he's going to go and be an elite quarterback. Again, I don't even think he's top 32. But I do think that he is, when any rookie quarterback going into their second year after having a few starts under their belt, they're going to be better.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see him and how he progresses with Kellen Moore as well, both the quarterbacks. I think they both have some potential. I think they definitely have some potential. However, there's not a lot of time for a quarterback like Tyler Shubb, who's 26, like I've mentioned multiple times. It's just hard. It's tough for him.
What was your reaction when they drafted him right away? You were probably
I was surprised.
You were never a Tyler Shubb guy.
I was never a Tyler Shubb fan. Yeah. Shedeur Sanders, who was taken as late as he was, I think could have been drafted in the second round, especially when there's other quarterbacks that were taken in the second round.
Second overall pick.
Exactly. I think Shedeur Sanders is a better option despite the attitude that he has.
Let's talk about that. Attitude that he has. What do you mean
Gabe,
by that?
The first preseason game, and maybe even the second, I can't tell you how many videos online that I've seen of Shedeur Sanders just doing something to upset the general public. He walks into his first preseason game with his own music playing and a friend of his holding a scythe.
I didn't see that.
I don't fifth round quarterback taken. I don't think that's the way most quarterbacks in that situation would enter a preseason game. And then after, mind you, he did have a very good preseason game. But then he was acting like he won the Super Bowl. Talking to reporters and the way he acted, I mean, I think it's understandable why some teams might be hesitant. And I might sound like a hater. I'm not a hater of Shedeur Sanders. I actually think Shedeur Sanders has a lot of potential. And he's Deion Sanders' son, so of course he's going to be a little cocky. I think that's what comes with some of these types of players. But I think that's, I don't know. Yeah, I just think the way he entered was a little funny.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I haven't seen,
So that's understandable. I do think it's easy to jump on a narrative, though. And something like that, if he didn't already have this narrative, if he wasn't already thought of the way he was thought of, I don't think...
it's good to come in with confidence.
I don't think what you're talking about right now would be as big of a deal if he didn't have the background he has.
And you know what? Maybe it is me just carrying on with a lot of what's going on, because you could also look at Caleb Williams. I think the hate for Caleb Williams is ridiculous.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Just this past week, Sam Acho was saying that he's a bad leader because he wore low socks.
Yeah.
Which is just a ridiculous take.
Yeah.
I don't think the way a player wears his game-worn outfits should have any impact on what type of leader he is. I think a lot of his teammates like him. I think he's treated well. He treats others well. And let a quarterback have a little fun with some painted nails. Did painted nails hurt anybody?
No.
Come on.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. It's common, and it's not just like it used to be. You know, like I said, the fan base is divided. A lot of local media.
I think a lot of players are able to express
media.
themselves, but yes, national media.
National media has been unbelievable. Unbelievably unfair.
And the way they turn on him, they do a complete 180 after that preseason game I saw. There was a guy that said, I don't remember who it was, but he said, waking up this morning, I was worried that Caleb Williams was going to be a bust, and after this, I'm excited to watch him play. I'm excited for his future. Look at the stats, and I know we've mentioned it already. He had a great season for the situation he was in.
I bust is off the table. Like, and that actually that's something I want to like. I was hoping we get on this conversation too. Bust is off the table. People talking about him being a potential bust. He's not a bust. He can't be a bust at this point after his rookie season. If he doesn't get any better, if his floor is what we've already seen, he is not a bust. He is.
Mind you, if his floor is what we've already
His
seen,
floor-
he will already be better this season because he has a better offensive line, better play callers, and arguably more weapons.
Yeah, if he is the same player that he was last year in every way, he's not a bust. He's at least
He'll actually improve this year.
He's at least a top
did the
32
exact same
quarterback.
thing he did last year.
Yeah, he's at least a top 32 quarterback.
I think he's also the Bears' first 4,000-yard passer this season. If he plays the way he did last season.
Yeah. But the point is that the conversation is so quick to talk about us drafting a bust and making another mistake and all that. And there is a chance he doesn't meet some expectations that people have for him. I think he's going to meet all the expectations. Being the homer I am, he's a Hall of Famer. But his floor, we've seen it. It's not a bust. It's pretty clear. So it always infuriates me when I see those comments as well.
The 182 is he's in the draft and he's the generational player, and then he gets drafted to the Bears. People question it, and then immediately he's thought of as a bust after having a pretty solid season, like I mentioned.
After having an objectively good rookie season, not subjectively. Like it's not an opinion. He had a good rookie season.
I can agree with that.
You can't. There's no arguing it. He had a good rookie season. Wasn't great. Wasn't the best rookie season. Wasn't as good as Jaden Daniels. But we compare him to Jaden. We compare him to Bo Nix, who I also want to talk a little bit about. I think Bo Nix is. I do think he's already hit his ceiling. He's the type of guy who I don't think is going to get much better. But I think where he is now is a solid quarterback. I think he's a top 18 quarterback is where I'd put him, and I think he's going to be that way for the rest of his career. But because of the season he had last year and because of the season Jaden had last year, people are like, well, Caleb didn't have a better season than him, so he's a bust. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Look, the people are still giving Trevor Lawrence a chance, Justin Fields a chance. If these players are getting second chances, more than second chances, Trevor Lawrence is heading in his 5th season, and is not playing like the quarterback people expected him to be. He's a generational quarterback as well, and
generational. Yeah.
He's not playing with it. But on the topic, before we go and talk about more of overall division things and other players, I do want to talk about some of the moves, cut downs were today. All these teams all the NFL teams are getting the 53-man roster. The Bears kept Ja'Day Walker for wide receiver, and I want to hear your opinion on it because we did cut Tyler Scott.
Yeah.
The final 6 receivers that the Bears did keep are, of course, DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, and then they got the second-round pick, Luther Burden. Devin Duvernay, who's a pretty good return guy. I'm excited to see him. He's
been hurt.
Pro Bowl returner.
Oh, yeah. He's been hurt for a lot of camp, too. But I know he's had a couple decent seasons with Baltimore.
Yeah, and then we got Zacchaeus and Walker. And Zacchaeus looks like he has some chemistry with Caleb Williams as well, but I want to hear what you think about these cuts, just at wide receiver at least.
Do you want to just talk about receiver first?
Let's talk about receiver first. It's a deep. I think the Bears are pretty deep in wide receiver depth.
100%. Going into this training camp, Tyler Scott, I didn't think there was any chance he'd be cut.
I've had a soft spot for Tyler Scott.
Yeah, me too. Going into training camp, I didn't think there was any chance. I mean, as a 4th-round pick, what was that, 2 years ago now?
I think so, yeah.
He's
never really gotten a chance.
No, but not even that. His scouting report, I mean, a lot of guys had him going in a 2nd round. Like, this was a guy who had a high ceiling, speed guy, deep ball guy, take a top off the defense. Like, this is a guy that a lot of teams actually held in pretty high regard, and it was considered a steal when we got him in the 4th round. And he didn't come on. I remember his rookie year is kind of thrust into a role he probably wasn't ready for. We put him he was like a wide receiver 2 or 3 right away for us. And then his 2nd year, it was pretty much the same thing. And then, I think he was the 3 behind Mooney. He was probably the wide receiver 3, which he still probably wasn't quite ready for, but I guess it's better than a 2.
Just never made enough impact in the season.
But yeah, I remember him having a really bad drop with Justin Fields. Was that Fields or Caleb?
I think it was Fields.
I'm blanking.
It was 2 years ago, I think.
Was that really bad drop? You know what I'm talking about?
It was not last season.
That deep ball.
Yeah.
So he's had made some mistakes like that drop.
Odunze made a couple drops like that last season, I think too.
Yeah.
Which I know we're getting off topic here, but Odunze was regarded as one of the top catchers in the draft when we drafted him last season, and we saw a couple drops from him this preseason as well.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean I'm not. I just thought that's something to mention.
That just happens. I'm not worried about it. But back on Tyler Scott, going into training camp, like we were saying, I didn't think there's any chance he gets cut. But then all the reports you see and you watch the film itself, I mean, he's not really doing anything special. The only time he's been flashing at all is when he's with the 2s. Even with the 2s, he hasn't separated himself much, like at least from the reports and stuff I've read.
He hasn't done much in the return game either.
Yeah, so and that would be where he'd have to make a name for himself at this point.
Exactly. And players like him, the special teams is the most important thing, and that's why Duvernay made the team.
And with him being a 4th round pick, you would think he'd have a longer leash, but
in a talent room like what we have as well. I mean, drafting Luther Bird in the 2nd round and getting Zacchaeus in the free agency, and then Walker just went off in that last game. Well,
just the top end so good. You only have you're between 5 guys for the last receiver spot because we're keeping 6 guys, right? Yeah, it'd be 6. Yep. So it's between like 4 or 5 guys for the last spot. I didn't even think Jade Walker was an option. I thought it was going to be between Scott or Maurice Alexander. Is that his name?
I actually thought it was going to be between Duvernay as well. Duvernay made it.
Yeah, well, Duvernay was brought in to be our return guy. He just had some injuries. Although I guess
there was some question. I mean, Tyler Scott's a return guy as well, so.
Yeah, that's true. No, it shocked me. To be honest, though, I didn't. Again, him being a 4th round pick, usually.
I'd like to see him come back on the practice squad as well. I think he still definitely has some potential, but that could also just be me.
I don't think we'd get to keep him. I think if we bring him back on a practice squad, he's getting snatched up. There's no way he clears waivers. This is a former 4th round pick, and
3 years out of being picked, he's still pretty young too.
Talking about that too, guys who aren't going to clear waivers. Zach Pickens.
Pickens was a big surprise. We drafted him in the 2nd round 2 years ago.
No, 3rd round.
Was it 3rd round?
It was 3rd round, but pick 64.
It was him and Javon Dexter that we picked. Pickens was expected, I'm pretty sure, to even be the better one out of the 2.
There was a debate. I know Dexter. I mean, early on in the initial camps, I know that he looked better. Pickens said.
It's really surprising to see that he's cut this early on in his career, especially with the picks that we.
And again, he's not. This isn't just a 3rd round pick getting cut, which would be crazy in its own. This is pick 64, pretty much a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
So you're cutting essentially a 2nd round pick. His 3rd year, right? Is it 3rd?
It's his 3rd year. He was drafted in 2023.
Third year in the league. You're drafting you're cutting a 2nd round pick. I think that's unbelievable. I actually question it.
I mean, there has to be something. I mean, especially for the defensive line the Bears have. That's that's the weakest point on the Chicago Bears team. Especially, watching them against the Chiefs starters in the first quarter of the preseason game. It's the weakest point the Bears have, and it's weakening the defense as a whole.
Yeah,
it's very, very clear.
I think people are raising the alarm bells a little too quick on the defensive line, actually. So, first of all, Grady Jarrett hasn't played at all.
That's true.
He's supposed to be our literal best.
But
No, he's supposed to be our best defensive lineman. He is like that. He's supposed to be our anchor. He's supposed to be the best run stopper and our best pass rushing defensive tackle.
Yeah. Okay.
And he hasn't played a single preseason game. Billings has been a little disappointing in preseason.
He also started off slow. He's just coming back from a season-ending injury.
Exactly.
He played maybe 8 snaps in the 2nd preseason game. I don't know how many he played last week, but I mean he's coming. They're starting him off slow. Awesome. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying he's disappointing. He's made flashes and plays in the short time he's played in the preseason.
Okay, that's
in
fair.
my opinion.
And then our number 3 edge, Austin Booker, hasn't played. He played against the Bills and was great. Didn't play against the Chiefs. Yeah.
He's hurt.
Yeah. So you don't have Austin Booker. You don't have Grady Jarrett. You don't have Jalen Johnson. You don't have Kyler Gordon. You don't have.
I do
my
also.
main point is that people are freaking out.
The Bears just lost Frazier to injury, full season, cornerback, and we also lost Terrell Smith, and two very solid depth players for the Bears at the secondary position that they just lost. They're running short on running backs and cornerbacks right now with injuries. The Bears had two running backs play yesterday in practice and had DJ Moore actually running a couple of rushing plays. But before we move on from the defensive line, there's a lot of opportunity for big trades to happen, and I'm curious if you're interested in any of those at all. Trey Hendrickson, I know, just signed a $30 million one-year deal with the Bengals, so he could play this year. And Micah Parsons is very unhappy in his position.
He's not getting traded.
I don't think either of them are getting traded. However, I want to know what you think about it.
I mean, obviously, I'd love to have Micah Parsons on the team.
I don't think Jerry Jones is willing to give up. I mean, the amount of capital you have to give up to get Micah Parsons is insane.
I don't think he's worth the capital we'd have to give up. That's like the next point. I mean, we've seen their defense. Their defense has not performed well enough, overall as a team, to warrant the amount of draft capital you'd have to give up to get a guy like that. I'd rather use that draft capital on multiple players on the defense. So it's not something I probably want to do, but I'd love to have the guy on the team. I don't think it's going to happen. Staying on that topic, holy cow, how Jerry has dropped the ball on this whole situation and how he's been handling it.
Speaking out about how your injured players, like, you don't want to give them a contract because your players get injured is insane to me. I don't know if
Not
you know
only
about
that, trying to coerce them into a handshake deal without your agent being there.
A handshake deal is,
just there's a lot of really, I don't like it. And if I was a Cowboys fan, I would be pretty unhappy.
And the Bears have been through situations where they have had tough things to deal with leadership as well. So I think you as a fan can understand some of the frustration. I think you can see frustration in even Bengals fans. For Bengals fans, they're only spending money on offense, and their defense is going to lose some games, and it's one of the worst defenses in the league. And they're barely willing to spend anything to help their defense improve.
It should have some improvement.
Or offensive line. I don't know if you saw it in preseason as well. I know we can't.
Burrow was running for his life.
And I know it's, again, just preseason, but you don't want to ever see that, ever, for a quarterback who's had severe injuries because of his offensive line before.
Yeah. That's a good point. No, and again, I know you said preseason, but I think people are making many too quick narratives, though.
Yeah.
Like, people are saying, okay, the Bengals have a bad offensive line. People are saying, okay, the Bears' defense is going to be bad.
However, the Bengals have had a bad offensive line, so I don't think that's something you're as reaching on as much as something like that.
The Bears' defense.
I think both things are fair to say, because coming into the preseason game, in general, I think the Bears, their weakest point was the defensive line, so seeing that their run defense is still struggling is concerning.
So I think it is fair to question it and be concerned, but I think the amount of concern is an overreaction that everyone's been having. Like I said, before Billings got hurt, we had one of the best run defenses in the league.
Yeah.
Yep. Year before last year, we had arguably the best, one of the best defenses in the league, period. Not arguably the best defense, but arguably the best run defense, and one of the best defenses in the league that year.
Yeah.
And then when Matt Eberflus loses the locker room, no one tried anymore, and it was bad. Now
it was very clear.
All we did was upgrade that defense. So the fact that people are worried after a preseason game when most of our best players are out, it doesn't make sense to me. And that's the other thing. I don't know why people are initially so concerned about the potential of the defense being so bad when we've seen its floor. Its floor was only low. Its floor was only low when the locker room was lost.
Yeah. They had one of the top defenses in the league at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
And I could say that Dennis Allen could be a better play caller than Matt Eberflus.
He's at least on the same caliber. Yeah. Eberflus was a good play caller. We don't need to besmirch his play calling. He was a legitimate play caller.
He was solid.
Dennis Allen, I think, is in the same.
I think he's a more aggressive play caller.
Dennis Allen is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that changes.
Which would help with our pass rush problems.
Yeah.
You'd think.
Yeah. Moving on. I think the NFC North is the most competitive division in the league, and it's the one division, in my opinion, that I don't think I can choose a last place or first place for the division. And I've talked about this on previous podcasts. I can see any 4 of the teams being last, and I can see any 4 of the teams being first.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Bears might have the least likely path to first because they have a new coach. They were just last place.
Really hard schedule.
Very hard schedule. And everything's new for that team. I think they have a very tough path to get to first place. However, I think they could have potential to go worst to first.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what you think about it. I had the Lions going first, and I know they lost a lot of I know they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn in the offseason. But I do think they'll what might hurt them at the beginning of the season, I think they'll figure out by the end, and I think they will get it together. I mean, they have so much talent on the offense. You can't have that type of offense with no talent. So I think the talent, I mean, they might have some bumps in the road, obviously. I think any team with a new offensive-minded scheme will have some bumps, but I think they'll maintain first place.
That's interesting. I'm
for now, at least.
I'm in the same boat as you in terms of I could see it going anyway for any team in the division. I don't see the Lions being first place. Now I
don't see the Vikings being first place as much either. I think it's between the Lions and Packers.
I think it's between, yeah. I think that's probably the way you'd have to put it. Obviously, me being a homer, I think it's between the Bears, Packers. But I don't see it being the Lions, and it's not because I think they're going to take a massive step back because of these new play callers. I do think they will take a step back, but I just think we're going to see regression, natural regression, regression to the mean. I mean, their offense without Ben Johnson, I mean, with the talent they have, they should still be good, but they're not going to be what they were. So we're going to see natural regression.
And I think by maybe mid-season, I think they won't pick up where they left off, but I think they'll be better than they are at the beginning of the season. Like I said, there's going to be bumps in the road for them, for sure.
Yeah.
But Jared Goff is heading into his 10th season. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 3 wide receiver, top 5, whatever you want to say.
I think he's overrated, too, personally.
I think his playmaking ability is very good.
I think he's a good route runner. I think his playmaking ability is overrated, too.
Okay.
We can have a conversation about that.
That could be another conversation for another time.
Yeah. No, I get that. So
I mean, the division in general in offensive talent is very good. I think DJ Moore is underrated, and I think Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra are 2 top 5 wide receivers in the league. So the talent's there, and then the Packers might not have a number 1, but they have a lot of very good number 2s. So, in my opinion.
I like how everyone talks about their team. It's a bunch of number 2s.
It's a bunch of number 2s, but they make do with it, and that's credit to Matt LaFleur. I think, he makes anything work.
So I think our skill position group has the highest ceiling. I might be a little biased, but DJ Moore is a legitimate one. Roma Dunze. Everyone can see that
there's a lot of different skill sets in the offensive group as well.
Roma Dunze has the ceiling to be a legitimate one. Luther Burden
also has the ceiling to be a
legitimate one.
Yep. However, with the share that we have, especially Colston Loveland, I think Colston Loveland might be one of the top options for the Bears.
Exactly.
Heading into the season.
But when you talk about an established wide receiver 1, 2 other guys who have the potential to be ones.
Zacchaeus, you can't forget Zacchaeus either. He looked pretty solid with Williams.
A low end 2 to high end 3 in Zacchaeus, a top 10 tight end in Kmet, and hopefully another top 10 tight end.
I mean, we drafted him in the top 10, so you'd hope.
I mean, even if we had the worst running backs in the league, our skill positions are unbelievable. But then DeAndre Swift, you throw him in, we saw him lower his shoulder. We saw improvement out of him.
I think people are starting to hate on him too much. Yes, he's not.
Last season was not a representative of what
exactly.
What he is.
If you have a bad offensive line, a running back is not going to do good, and you saw that in Saquon Barkley.
I mean, objectively, he balanced it outside too much. He
for
he
sure.
was afraid. He didn't take the easy yards, and he tried to make a big play.
But
too
you
much.
saw that in almost every position on the Bears' offense last season, doing something a little strange because of
everybody else.
just everything.
Yeah, and it's a snowball effect. You know, it's just a cycle. One person makes the other one worse. But I don't think that's indicative of what he is. We're gonna see.
He already made a couple plays in the preseason as well. Not one game he played.
We saw him lower his shoulder more. We're seeing a different version of him. We're gonna see the version of him from Detroit and Philadelphia.
I think obviously, as we've seen, I think we'll see DJ Moore at running back a little bit more too, especially with all the players we have injured right now.
We will. And but what I was gonna say is Swift is a top 15 running back. He is. And when he is in his normal form, when he's not last year's version.
I don't think you can start him at being a top 15 quarterback after last season, though.
Running back?
I think he can maybe get to a point where he's a good running back again, but you can't automatically say, oh, we have a top 15 running back, because last season he just played so bad and it was because of all these other things. I'm not saying he played horribly. He had a lot of crucial plays for the Bears in many games, but we can't go into this new season after he had one of the worst seasons in his career and be, oh, yeah, but we still have a top 15 running back.
Top 15 is a little high. You're right.
Top 15 is a little high.
Top 15 is a little high. Top 15 is a little high. But
that's the hope.
But he's talented.
I mean, there's a lot of talented running backs in the room. It's just based on who steps up and
there's not a lot
plays
of
their
talented
full
running backs in the room.
I think Roschon Johnson has potential. I'm not saying there's talent. I'm saying there's potential.
No, Monangai and Roschon.
I think Monangai and Roschon have talent and potential to be solid. That's talent. As two other guys with talent.
They potential to be solid.
Yeah, exactly.
I
can't. But you cannot say that DeAndre Swift is a top 15 running back, and you can't say that Bears have a solid. They have a solid room at running back, but that's their weakest point on offense by far. Like, by far, that's their weakest point on offense.
I don't think you could say they have a talented running back room.
Yeah. I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, okay. But kind of going back on the Swift thing, you're right. It's a little, I can't say he's top 15, but I do think that last year, what we saw from him last year is not what he is.
We saw pieces of what he could be.
No, well, we just saw a different player last year. That's not what he is. What we saw the year before in Philly, and then Detroit before that, even though he was a little hurt in Detroit, that's the player.
I agree with you. I agree that he could be a better player. However, there's reasons why Detroit moved on, and there's reasons why Philly moved on.
True. But I don't think that's as simple as saying, oh, they moved on because of we know that he's not the biggest guy. I know he's got there's probably some pass protection issues at times and things like that. But Philly moved on because they got Saquon. You know,
both heading into free agency.
Yeah. Detroit moved on because they got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Which was a reach at the time, and Ben Johnson was the one who moved on from him.
And there's another thing. The narrative that Ben Johnson didn't like Swift and why.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here, okay?
No, I understand. I understand. Just because they drafted Gibbs does not mean Johnson didn't like Swift and wanted to move on from Swift.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity to take Gibbs, and they did. And then they realized, okay, now we have two backs who are similar type of backs. We only need one of them. We can move on from Swift now.
Yeah. I like it.
It's that simple. Johnson really likes DeAndre Swift. I don't know if you hear the way he talks about him, if you hear the way Eric Bieniemy talks about him. They do not view this as a potential committee backfield. They view this as DeAndre
I don't think it
Swift.
can be a committee backfield with the players we have in the backfield. DeAndre Swift is by far the better option out of the running backs that we have. And we've mentioned that already.
I don't think people give Roschon enough credit. I like that you mentioned that earlier too. Anytime he's been on the field, he falls forward every time. He's a legit runner. He doesn't go down from the first
However,
guy.
he hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities.
But he's gotten hurt too much. Monangai is going to be nice, but no, yeah. I get what you're saying. I do think there is potential for a committee. It just depends on if Roschon's healthy and if we give Monangai a real chance.
Yeah. He's listed second on the depth chart, I'm pretty sure, right now.
Monangai is
yeah.
now? Okay,
yep.
Good.
Yep.
I mean, that's good to see. No, and Monangai, never fumbled once in his career, going back to high school. He's never fumbled in his career. So
yeah, it's good to see.
I mean, a little thing like that, it's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. You know, you throw that in, mix that in with the way he runs the ball, hard-nosed type guy. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see, and I hope it continues. To defensive positions in the division, I want to know where you think the Bears place in the division in positions compared to the other teams. I think the Bears have a very solid secondary, one of the better secondaries in the division.
Yeah, I think we have the best secondary in the division.
When healthy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people underrate the linebackers on the Bears as well.
Yeah, we have T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. That is one of the better duos.
Really
in
solid
the league.
duo.
Tremaine Edmonds has disappointed. He has not lived up to his contract.
However, T.J. Edwards is making up for it. He's playing better than Tremaine.
Exactly, and even though Edmonds has not lived up to his contract, he's still a pretty solid linebacker. Like, he's still played pretty good. So you got those two guys. We got a pretty good secondary. Yes, our defensive line would be the weak point, but again, I'm not gonna say that our defensive line is a weak spot right now. Like, we have a lot of talent there that we haven't seen yet. We have to let this year play out a little bit. Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter, like, that's nasty. And then you throw in Billings back there as a third. Billings is your number 3.
It's solid. It's solid
potential. I mean, that is unbelievable. And then we have a second-round pick as our 4th defensive tackle.
I'm excited to see Booker, too, once he gets healthy again.
Yeah, and Odengbo, I mean, remember, the last 2 years, our defense was a good defense. I know they lost it a little when Eberflus lost the locker room, but we had a good defense. Odengbo is the best compliment to Sweat that he's had yet on our team. There, when we had Yannick Ngakoue, was it Yannick Ngakoue? I don't know how you say his name. Regardless, we had him for a year. He was washed by then. He was nothing special. This is the best pass rush duo we've had to pair Sweat with yet. And, I mean, that alone, people don't talk about that. Like, people just talk about us needing a pass rusher so bad, and we need one. I know we
haven't seen the defensive line to the full potential yet this season. However, I think it's still fair to question it.
Yeah,
it's the weakest point in the defense. It's
fair to question it, but I think there's too much of an overwhelming concern.
Yeah.
I think it's too over. I mean, especially on paper, when you look at the position group on paper, I think, yes, you would like some more pass rush depth, but that has not, like, you look at the starters and we're strong.
Yeah. Moving on to something a little different. You're in a lot of fantasy football leagues. I'm getting in a lot of fantasy football leagues, but you're in 3 different types. You're in Dynasty, Standard, and PPR. I want to know what your favorites are and a little bit of some of your techniques. Coming from someone who's doing my first Dynasty league this year, I need a little bit of help.
Yeah, so, I mean, all 3 are different, obviously. I think PPR I prefer in any type of league, just whether it's Dynasty or like a
I think half PPR
league.
Is more fair, actually, even, too.
You prefer half?
I mean, giving a full point is a lot per catch.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
No, it is. It's jarring to someone who doesn't do PPR at all. Like, that's a huge change.
Coming from someone who's played since 2015 and hasn't done PPR.
Yeah, no. I mean, we have our family league with a bunch of old timers who aren't capable of switching to PPR.
Which, by the way, I cannot compare that family league to anything. I cannot do a mock draft. I cannot do anything to prepare for that league because there are people that take quarterbacks in the first round. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's one of those leagues, but that has its charm. But going back to your question, they're pretty different. I do prefer PPR overall. I like the element of thinking of different types of running backs, like receiving backs and things like that. Dynasty League, though, is awesome. It's my favorite type of league, period. When it has PPR mixed in, that's the best. I guess, are you asking like how you
I want to know what your technique is, because we are going in. It's an interesting one. We're going to do bids for waivers instead of waiver wire claims. Okay. We're doing trades. I'm unfamiliar with the trades. The trade situation of being able to trade picks. I mean, right now I'm listed to have the last pick, and it's a 14-man league.
And trading picks is very different.
I have a 14-man league right now, and I'm in the last pick. So I get 2 back-to-backs, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But then the rest of that talent's going to go away by the time I pick again.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. We're having multiple flex spots.
Okay. So I guess you want to win now, or are you looking to kind of build a dynasty, build something for a long time?
You see, that's the thing. I want to
'Cause
know what you.
that's-
Gabe actually just traded away Saquon Barkley in his league.
I did.
I want to know your thought
So-
process
and
behind that.
Kind of what I was getting at is I'm probably not the best person to take advice from because in my dynasty league, we started probably 4 or 5 years ago. I went on win now immediately. I did draft some younger players, but I went pretty heavily to just try to win. Team didn't work out. I ended up getting Saquon a while back before he was on the Eagles, and he's worth a lot on my team at this point last year, and I ended up trading him away for some picks, but it didn't work. Let's just say that my win now strategy didn't work. So
I don't think I'm gonna go for the win now strategy personally. I think I'm gonna go a bit younger, hopefully. But by the time I pick, I think a lot of the young guys are actually gonna be gone. So I might be forced to do the.
Oh no, you're gonna have a lot of options. I mean, and there's definitely gonna be people in the league who are going to try to win now.
I can guarantee you, Saquon Barkley is gonna be gone by the time I pick. We have some avid homers in this league that I'm about to join. Some Eagles fans.
Yeah.
No, but in both leagues, the family league and the other league, I know quite a few Eagles fans.
So, like,
actually.
I wonder if someone you'd think someone like Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs would go.
I think they'd
earlier.
go pretty early. Ashton Jeanty,
would you think they'd go earlier than Saquon?
I would pick him both of them earlier than Saquon.
Yeah.
They're younger. Saquon's proven to have quite a few injuries. Obviously not last season. I don't know. It's definitely questionable. I would take Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, over Saquon for the sake of that league. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. We're in the midst of fantasy football season. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I have one draft done, probably two or three to go. So
yeah. Okay. Oh wow. I'm in three leagues I think right now.
Yeah.
But no, dynasty. It's fun, and like Madden franchises, it's the same type of thing. You build your team up, and you can trade your picks. I need to think of some trades. No, the idea of having the same team every year is exciting for sure, and it's cool. It's a whole different way of thinking about it with your draft picks.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna keep my 14th pick right now. That was what I'm thinking.
You don't want to try to trade up, or?
I don't really want to. I think having 2 picks back to back is pretty valuable, especially early on.
Oh yeah, I agree. I like your spot a lot.
Yeah.
14-man league is a big league for dynasty.
I'm in 2 14-man leagues as well, so
that is.
I'm gonna have some nobodies on this team, especially. I can't even get started on the team I just drafted. I have Brandon Ayuk and Chris Godwin and Tyjae Spears all on my bench, and they're all, I'm pretty sure, on injured reserve to start the season. I have no bench. Absolutely no bench. And guess what? Tyjae Spears was my 3rd best running back because I'm in a 14-man league.
That sounds like a user error.
It was not user error. And by the way, I have a pristine draft strategy that was ruined because I had to pick 7th in a 14-man league. No, 9th. I had to pick 9th. That's a horrible spot to be in. I'm in the middle towards the end.
Yeah.
I got Malik Neighbors first, which, by the way, was not part of my draft strategy.
First?
Not part of my draft strategy.
Okay. But you took him.
I had to. There's no other choices. By the way.
Interesting.
Who would you have taken? I had a choice between him and Nakua. I would rather Malik Neighbors than Nakua.
Who would have taken a running back?
There were no running backs, mind you, because all of them were taken.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to reach for JT at pick 9. So
that's fair. That's reasonable too.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to go running back in the first round. There's not a lot of running back talent that's deep in any year usually.
I'm always the type I go running back early, no matter what.
I go running back.
Yep.
I'm not going to share any. I'm not going to share anything else because we're about to draft in the same league. But just to close out this podcast, I have a couple fun games to play. It's this or that, or actually, it's really one this or that, and then I have a couple other random things to talk about. But would you rather have Matt Nagy with the current team, and Caleb Williams, of course, or Ben Johnson on that 28 team with Trubisky?
Oh, shit. Oh.
I saw it the other day. It's fine. I don't care. I saw it the other day, and I was very intrigued by it.
Really hard question. I would,
guess we don't know enough about Ben. I'd probably say Nagy
I
with
think
this
I'd
team.
say Nagy. Also,
I'd probably say Nagy with this team.
Nagy with this team
I think would be pretty good, actually.
would be pretty good because, mind you, in 2018, Matt Nagy was the coach of the year. And when you compare Matt Nagy to the last coach we've had, the last few coaches we had besides Matt Nagy, we had Mark Trestman and John Fox before Nagy and Eberflus after him.
Yeah,
Matt Nagy's miles ahead of all three of those guys.
Yeah.
Miles and miles and miles ahead.
I actually don't.
But it's a hard decision.
Looking back on its revisionist history, I mean, I don't know.
Let's just keep Matt Nagy.
I don't know why we fired him so quickly. Like, he went 12-4.
I'm pretty sure he was 3-4 going to.
He had a
the
positive
postseason.
record.
3 out of the 4 seasons he had with us.
He went 2 for 3.
2 for 3. That's what it was.
2 for 3 in
2 for 3.
postseason. Went 12-4, 8-8, and 8-9.
2 for 3.
So he had a positive record.
Coach of the year. Coach of the year. Positive record. 2 for 3 going to the postseason, and then we fired him. Now, mind you, we were very happy when we fired him. But looking back, Matt Eberflus might be one of the worst coaches the Bears have had in history.
Matt Eberflus might be the worst coach we've ever had, and
that's a lot for an over 100-year-old organization.
That's saying something for a team that's had Mark Trestman and
John Fox.
Well, you can't say John.
You can't say John Fox is a bad coach because he was a Super Bowl winning coach with the Broncos.
I was gonna say, didn't he win a Super Bowl?
I think with the Broncos.
He was in a Super Bowl.
He was in a Super Bowl. I know he was in a Super Bowl. I think he lost it with the Broncos. However,
I know he was in a
he
Super
was
Bowl.
a successful coach. But Mark Trestman, man, oh man, the decisions the Bears have made. Also, I'm pretty sure they had at one point Bruce Arians is not a coach in the league anymore, but they had the opportunity to get Bruce Arians and picked Mark Trestman, I think, over him.
Yeah, I read about that.
So I was very, very glad.
We picked
very happy.
Matt Eberflus over Dan Quinn, and we picked
and Ben Johnson. Actually, probably I would say the Bears picked Matt Eberflus over Ben Johnson. Even
was Ben Johnson?
I'm pretty sure Ben Johnson was in the cycle and decided to opt out. Oh. And while he says it's because he had more to finish with the Lions.
That was
the Bears,
3 years ago.
That was not 3 years ago. That was you're right.
Yeah, I don't think he was in the cycle at that point. Last year
is what? Yeah,
when we
you're right.
decided to keep Eberflus.
Matt Eberflus was not on anyone's radar when we did hire him, though. So.
Oh yeah, he was not a head coaching candidate, and we hired him. He was actually a candidate to get fired.
And mind you, yes, he was a candidate to get fired. But mind you, he's a very good defensive play caller.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna discredit him for that. But as a head coach, I'd prefer not to have him as a head coach. There's a reason why he couldn't call timeouts. I think I would have been in the Bears losing that game to the Lions last season on Thanksgiving, being down by 3 in field goal range, and then just running out 30 seconds of the clock explains the whole experience of Bears fans with Matt Eberflus. I'm just gonna end it there on that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good explanation of what Matt Eberflus is.
I was gonna bring up something very painful, but I don't think I'm gonna.
Well, you have to.
Double doink. I just want to talk about the double doink with you a little bit here.
Okay.
Speaking of Matt Nagy, we talked about that. I want to know, I am convinced that the Bears would have made the Super Bowl that season had the double doink not happened.
Really?
I am convinced. We beat the Bears have beat the Rams that season, and the Saints were the only other team that would stand in the Bears' way. The Bears had one of the best all-time defenses in 2018. Mitchell Trubisky had a Pro Bowl level season.
Why are sorry to interrupt you, but thinking about that season, that was Mitch's second year, right? First year learning a new offense.
It's the same thing. The Bears have had the same cycle 3 times in a row. Mitchell Trubisky, Justin Fields, and now Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is the most talented quarterback of the 3.
That's really interesting. The situation, it is really interesting how similar it is.
Yeah.
Especially with Ben Johnson coming in the same way Matt Nagy is. Yeah, that's a really interesting situation. Answer your question, I think they could have. They had the best defense in the league, period, and it wasn't close.
I remember the day of that playoff game like it was yesterday.
Blocked a lot of it out.
I remember playing Red Dead Redemption with you.
Oh, yeah. We did play.
And I was so happy to watch the game. That
You're
was
dressing our guys up.
the most hope I've ever had as a Bears fan. And then 3 hours later, the least hope I've ever had as a Bears fan. And I have not gotten that hope back, mind you.
I don't know if
It's been 8 years.
Hopefully this season we get it back.
I remember seeing the Bears second ranked in power rankings in 2018 and like living as someone in Packers land in Wisconsin, like seeing that and having the Packers having a bad season that year. I mean, it was wonderful.
I was at my friend's house for the first game of the season that season, which also sucked.
The amount of pain we experienced that year.
That season?
Oh my god.
Well, when Aaron Rodgers got hurt and we were gonna win, and then he comes back in the
2018, man.
That was the year.
The year of highs and lows. Trading for Khalil Mack, being super happy, beating the Packers by 20-ish points at halftime, and Aaron Rodgers being out. The Packers have little to no hope in that game, and then we lose. I can tell you, that was one of the worst weeks of my life.
Worst weeks of my life. No, I hope we never have to experience that quite like that again. Although I would rather experience that.
I would rather experience the Bears going to the playoffs
and losing than not making it.
Than being bored by midseason.
Yeah, me too.
And then on an ending note, unless you have something else you want to add to that, on an ending note, we're an hour into this podcast. I want to ask you, who do you think has the most approved for the Bears this season?
The most approved?
Yeah.
Caleb. I think
other than Caleb, that's an easy answer. Other than Caleb.
Like offense, defense, just
anything.
Give me a random player.
Random player that you think has the most approved this season.
DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
I think just because of the narrative around him after the season he had last year, everyone talking about us having the weakest running back room in the league, and I mean he's got a chip on his shoulder, and it's pretty clear. Yeah, he's gonna have a chip.
DeAndre Swift, I think, is a good option. I think Cole Kmet is another one. The Bears just drafted Colson Loveland with what pick was it? 9, 10. I was at the draft actually, watching that live.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But I think Cole Kmet has a lot to prove. I don't think the Bears will replace him. I don't think they should. I think having 2 tight ends like this is actually a really good thing, especially in the offense for Ben Johnson. But, I mean, a top 10 rookie tight end coming in for your job, he could even end up being the starter. I think Cole Kmet is a top 10 tight end, but I think he's
not
a lot
going to start. Well, they're listing 2 starters.
End up being a starter. I just think Colson Loveland has a lot to prove. I forget what year he's going into. Do you remember?
5.
Around year 5.
I want to say 5.
He's shown stints of how good he could be, but I think he has a lot to prove. With consistency, I think he's really one of the better pass catchers at tight end in the league.
Kmet?
Yes, Kmet. He's very, very, very reliable. No one talks about him like that. But I think other than Caleb Williams, obviously Caleb Williams has the most approved on the Bears. But DeAndre Swift and Cole Kmet, I think, are the next leading 2.
That's a good argument.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't have considered Kmet that type of pass catcher, but
I mean, if you look at stats,
and he's done some pretty crazy stuff too. He's done some crazy.
He's done a lot. He has some crazy catches, and I think he's very, very. The thing is, for him being so reliable, there are a couple easy drops he's had. However, he's usually in the list of players who don't have drops. It's like halfway through the season, multiple times I think he's been one of those players that with catchable passes, he doesn't usually drop it very often.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, Gabe, thanks for being on the podcast. I had a lot of fun talking with you and not being the biggest homer on the podcast, which, mind you, I don't think I usually ever am. I think Luke, who's been on the podcast, is a big Packers fan, who's also a big homer.
Might be a bigger homer than you.
But yeah,
I'd love to come on again more often, and I definitely am.
Mid-season, maybe. See your reaction.
Yeah, we'll have to have a conversation, or even sooner. However often you want to have me on. This is a good conversation. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Don't get me going, and check this podcast out.